Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the breakfast show. This is the Friday edition. That's right. Welcome to the trading idea show with SMARTRobie, and we are at episode 30 for the date 29th of January. Definitely what really caught the mind of a lot of day trader is no other than GameStop, right? That's right. And today they are talk about, they want to do this also for the rubber glove sectors, and they're starting off with Top Glove. So there's a lot of hoo-ha going on in social media talking about we being an activist and want to go against all this short seller establishment, especially the institution they were talking about was JP Morgan, which they did issue that the stock, especially all the rubber glove, did not worth as much as it is. That was on 15th of December. So taking up a cue from that, and that's what we see this morning. The rubber glove stock did shoot up a bit, but of course, as I said before on my posting in live Facebook, which I will talk about later. But this morning, if you look at it, let me just bring you up to the chart at speed. You can see the stock goes a bit higher, but right now you can see on the top of me here, just up here, it is only up. No, you went up. It was up slightly, then it went down to 1 point. It's yet to be seen the effectiveness of all these activists. And what do you think of it? Do you think they will do a bit of mobilizing, able to get the stock up? Do let me know and what you think of it, and it's good to do. And also at the same time, for those of you who wanted me to look at a couple of shares, do pencil that in the comment on the right hand side. Yeah, K Power. I think K Power. We will look at K Power. It's one of the story that will be covered here. Of course, welcome again, and do share this in your timeline. And today is Friday. Definitely, we are looking at advanced level, and the stocks idea that we were looking at will also be premium alert. We'll look at a chart setup and methodology that we use. I will talk a bit in length, maybe more than the other episode, will be volume spread analysis. That's right. So where we are this morning in here, like it or not, let me just blow this up again. The market right now, it is still just above you. It is still red pentagon. Still orange means the trend is still going down. We did have an upthrust, and the upthrust does signify more weakness to come. Okay, so it has been spot on, I have to say, with the Pentagon Guider. What can I say more about it? So if you have used this and you sort of know how to navigate yourself in and out of the market, I think that itself has done a lot of good rather than try to get every time inside there. Okay, some of you guys are looking into it. Of course, having said that, I'm going to go on to our next segment in here with the usual Bursa roundup. Now, in the market that we have seen, the Moody, which is the bonds rating, has maintained Malaysia rating as such, which it is expected, to be frank with you, with the current stimulus that is being thrown in by the finance minister, and also the declaration of it. It's kind of lucky we still maintain this, because a lot of stability, and we did know last week the domestic investment has dropped significantly, and that was also raised by the certain part about it, how to address this. Right now we seems to be good. Having said that, but a lot of money will need to be spent for the COVID vaccine, and also the pending GE15, which is coming down. Now remember, the last GE14, the Malaysia spent almost 150 million ringgit on all those elections. Just now you're going to have another election. So question is, where are we going to find the kind of money from a Malaysian context too? Okay, good. Some of you are already keying in the stocks, which we will take a look at here. The usual suspect in here. Let's go on to the next news that we have for you. Now, this is definitely the rubber glove, which continue to hog the headline. In this case is Hatalega, Kosan, Top Glove. But the fact is, there are shortages, because right now a lot of the analysts are talking about the rubber glove stock seems to be undervalued, which is very low PE. And it is, if you are a value investor, I think this is something which I find it a bit strange. If you're a value investor, the stocks which is undervalued, buy some more lah. Why do you want to do what this rubber glove anti-short seller activists, and there seems to be hogging the headline in here. Now, what those of you who may not know about the GameStop, let me just give you a bit of background. Now, the GameStop started with some of these so-called gamer who sells the online gaming, like the one shoot, what's that? A Call of Duty. They usually sell it in shopping malls. They have one in Bandar Utama too. So what they're saying, this GameStop eventually would go down, right? Because people are turning into online shopping. So it's such that there are two big hedge funds. They're going bankrupt because of this activists they are doing in US. They shorted it. So what happened is the activists went over to Reddit, one of the forum, and they gang up almost 3 million. We're talking about 3 million people to push the share price up, and since it's gone up almost 1,700%. So they're saying, look, we can also do this. So today, taking a cue, and it's not only happening in Malaysia, it's happening also in India and certain parts of more developed markets. So they're doing it right now. This morning, as I said, they have a group on the Telegram group called the Top Glove Investor. Last count, they have close to about 30,000 users, and they're saying, let's push up the share price. So I'm going to show you where the share price is for Top Glove. They're just doing it for Top Glove this morning in here. Good effort. Having said that, let me just show you where the chart is. Okay, this is, let me just pull this up. So this is, let me just show you Top Glove this morning here. Okay, just drop the E. And you can see market definitely gap up, but it came back down. Now it's still up 6%. Not too bad. Would that scare off a lot of what we call the short sellers? Would they cower it back? Okay. Now, the number of short sellers in Malaysia are relatively small. Do take note, it's only up to 4%. But what we are seeing in US, they have a bigger town. What I'm trying to say, just be careful. Anyway, if you look at it, AP4, which I was talking about, just wait a bit longer. It will come back one. You can notice, AP4, the market continue to go higher. This is a benchmark. Another rubber glove maker also in Rawang, but they are listed in Singapore. So if you look at that, eventually what I think, value will come back. It's just that it's just out of popularity right now, but definitely this morning we have seen it. The question is, how far can this go? On the Facebook, I did talk about the movement that was from Jimmy Lai from the Apple Daily. And when he was arrested in Hong Kong for being an activist again, going against the government, the stock did went up and then eventually came back down again. So we have to be very careful whether you want to join these activists and try to push up the share price, but eventually you may hurt yourself. Okay, you eventually may hurt yourself. So do take note of what I've just said. But no doubt about it, the valuation is low. I would actually buy some more. And if I have it, I'll be thinking to sell it, to be frank with you, and ready to move on other sectors which have a bit more potential, but just keeping a little bit more on the rubber glove, right? I don't think rubber glove continue to do so well. And many analysts, which also one of them are my friend, telling me that this is, a good stock. And I believe the rubber glove has a lot of play. Just keep it as a long-term thing, right? And stay away from, activities that might deprive you of your wealth later. So having said that, let's move on to our next news that we have for you. Okay, the next news is K-Power. Now, if we look at K-Power, which is a theme which I'll talk about, the renewable energy. Again, next Wednesday, I will talk more about it, then you will see. Definitely, this is from the NEP, net metering, also part of LSS3, the LS4 and LSS5, where the government commitment to the Paris Accord 2015, they need to commit. And this round, definitely the quota from 2021 to 2023 is 500 megawatts. So they are going, targeting a quota of 10%, which is 50 megawatts, which is definitely quite good. So here is the, together with Public Bank of the installation, I think they're working on some sort of a loan financing. So if you want to put a battery, solar power on top of your roof and then sell it back to Bursa, definitely they have some sort of loan for this to do. So having said that, I will touch more on this. So K-Power, if you notice, let's look at K-Power right now, right? And again, when do you want to sell this? Let's look at K-Power first. Let me just switch to a bigger chart here and bring it up this. So K-Power, what we have, all right. So we already have red pentagon. Now, if you have bought it much earlier, take some profit. All right, take some profit in here. Do not neglect what Robie is telling you so far. Of course, those of you who want to go in, right now you can see here exit strategy, K power exit at 226, which is the stop loss. Medium target price is $3.10, which is, you know, if you want to do that. But having said that, do be careful because we have a red pentagon. But if you do want to go in, look at the trading plan again. Let me just hit that button again. All right, and you can see K power if we break 2855 or pull back at 227. Do take note of that one. So the pullback is a special advanced technique, more for the advanced members who want to learn how to do that. We definitely do that. As I said before, K power is not the best stock to trade the pullback. There are better interesting stock. Can go over to the trending stocks to see that. Check out TM. All right, definitely see that's how SMARTRobie is for that matter. All right, let's go on to what we have for you next is the look at the hard disk drive. Now JCY is a hard disk drive, and in front of me I'm going to show you is my hard disk that I took out from my computer. You can see this one is kaput. Okay, kaput, not working anymore. So in many ways it is also the same with what's happening JCY, which is not doing as well as it is because a lot of computers have sort of switched on to tablet and mobile phone, and this is the one that really causing a lot of problem. Is a spinner. You can see this here, the spinning. Okay, this button here is the one that spins. Did give long, eventually it's just wear and tear. So the newer one like the SSD hard disk are getting cheaper, so that's what JCY is facing difficulty, and they are looking to expand. Of course, if you look at JCY, let me just show you here the chart wise. You can see trends are going lower, not going higher. All right, let me bring this up for you here. You can see on top of you there, its trend is going down. Of course, if you really want to buy JCY, just wait for the green pentagon to come. It's not that difficult. It's pretty easy to touch base on this one and running it. Let's go on to our next story that we have for you. Now, Wellcore, which is a rubber hose maker in here, continue to widen this base. Let's look at Wellcore. Last check, the chart was still moving sideways. Again, we all know why is this, because the industrial businesses are impacted by the COVID-19, just like JCY we talked about. And we all know what are the stocks that done pretty well. Now, if you catch me 2 weeks ago, not this week we touched base a lot of our members for the Pentagon Guider portfolio simulation. And last week we did talk about semiconductors. So check that one out. That is the sector that seems to be moving. Now, let me take note, those of you who are watching for the first time, the strategies we use here are typically sector rotation. We rotate out from a sector to sector that way to keep you in front of it. Just is like the edge. You know, you're going to be very sharp in the front, going where the stocks are going and leaving where the stocks are not doing so well. That's the strategy we use. But some of you may opt for the value stock, continue to buy some of those. Definitely we'll look at Server Dynamics for Peter here. Okay, let's move on to the next. Now, on the US market last night, we have a big sell-off, remember, just before the holiday that we have in Thai Busan. Then market did try to close up to almost closing up back another 400 to 500 points, but the last half an hour it did sell up. So it was a good closing, 300 points, but we have a good report. The Apple came out, Tesla came out, but no doubt Apple continue to go through profit taking, which is usual. Good news, they'll take profit. That's healthy corrections that allowed you to buy for the next round. You know, the first level of people who pocketed and then the next round. But what I do see from a Dow Jones, and I like to see this, is a minor correction, because you do have that resistance at 31,000 in here. A minor correction is good for it, and let's hope so. Of course, I always like to refresh this. One of the reasons why we do this is to continue to give the goal behind what we want to do in Trade VSA is the lesson learned. Okay, that's why we do the lessons learned, and we really want to make sure you capture some of the big run that we have in 2020, which some of them has gone up by 400%, 300%. Going back to the agenda of the train trader and train investor, it's pretty important for you to get the skills and the knowledge that you're able to run one of these trades, because when we come back end of the year, 31st of December, again, I want to measure many of your performance. Did you do well? right? We are very concerned you moving and doing well. Imagine you've been following for us, and then at the end of the year, still no improvement. We felt that we did not do our job well. Despite the tools that you have, SMARTRobie is almost free. This live FB is almost free. Our job is more to get you moving, both fundamental and technical, and avoid many of the mistakes that you made. Now, if you have followed item number 2, which is our Pentagon Guided Trading Portfolio Strategy for 2020, this is a back testing result. You could end up with a 106% return. That is almost 8.8% return. Can you imagine if you have, we do have this on the portfolio of 35,000. You can see right there. Just there's a QR code on the right side. Go and check it out. But anyway, this Saturday for our technical analysis, we will dive a bit more into this topic about the 106% return for the year. That's definitely good. We're not looking at one trade, we are looking for the year. So for 35,000, if you can make hypothetically 100% return, that's pretty good, right? It's a good way to push up in here, because we have seen many of the beginner before they even start, they start losing money. Not so good, isn't it? Correct. All right. So let's look at where we are right now and move on. Now let's look at some of the highlight that we have from our advanced trade idea, which is our premium alert, Enix. Now do take note, many of the premium alert tend to be fast out and fast in. You need to be fast in and fast. So you can see we hit about 55% in 3 days, 14% MRG in 6 days. Then Euro selected 6th of January, 7 days. Care Plus 38% in 3 days, and more recent is the EITA, which we'll look at it next. 15 days took about 7 bar, 5 to 7 bar, and Zealand hit about 14% in 3 days. So all in all, do take note. The lesson learned here is to have a target. Right? You can look from here: 40, 55, 14, 32, 38, 42, 14. So which means you need to have a target above at least 10% inside there. Now, also don't be too optimistic. Some of you may have target like, because after you've seen what GameStop can do, you put 300% return, those kind of thing. But if not, can always check out SMARTRobie on the trading plan, because it does have you a trading plan as well as the exit strategy will tell you a medium target price. All right, can use that one or use a percentage in here. Now, let's look at the lesson learned on the EITA here. All right, so let's look at EITA here, and I'm just going to bring up in here. So EITA was discussed on the 15th of January, which is around here, 15th of January, and usually we talk about this time, so around 10 something in here. Switching to an hourly chart, you can see right at here, 15th of January, around here, the market actually went 46%. That's right, 46% in here. So it's also good to have a target. Now, those of you who came, especially our masterclass member, we know we have a 30% target, isn't it? That could be a good target for you, your entry in here. But of course, you need to go back and back test it. Sometimes people take us for the value it is. They could enter much higher, and they still take that 30%. If you enter much higher, you can use that 30%, because through our back test we have shown. Check out the video, check out the script that we have on the right hand side. We'll talk more about. If not, do join us this Saturday, tomorrow, that's right, 10 o'clock. We have our technical analysis for TradingView. But bear in mind, there is a limit to our Zoom. We have 500. Now, I think we have almost close to about 800 people registered already. So it's a first come basis in there. And for our members, do come in a bit early, and we'll probably let you guys in. But remember, a lot of these things has been covered. If you are in our masterclass, this is definitely something that we already covered. This is more for the beginners level. Those of you who are wanted to try out TradingView, definitely that's the one. But if you do come in and join us too. Okay, so if you look back at this, whenever you hit this climatic, right now, lesson learned here, right? If you hit this climatic over here, right, and once you hit the climatic, if the market falls immediately the next day, like here, you could have exited. So if you had gone in here, 155, let's pull it down. You could not hit the 40%, but let's look at this example here. You could have made 25% at least. So having 30% is not too bad too. But sometimes you don't hit 30%, having said that. So keep that in mind too. All right, so it's a lot of juggling. But if not, just watch our intermediate level for those shares that we have. The intermediate level, there's another strategy for that, and also the beginner level in there. And those are different stocks that we pick too. All right. So this is the EITA, and right now, of course, usually on the stock split, after the stock split, right, the market sell back of which is expected. That's why you must beware of the good news. Good news sell. That's what be happening on Apple also, right? We know Apple had the best result yesterday. I think yesterday or a day also sell down. So as I said before, we as trained investor, you must learn to cherish the bad news. All right, good news, learn to sell. If you can do that, you are already halfway there. Take note. But of course, many of you are so tied to your emotion of the market, you find it difficultly, and that's what having an agenda to be a trained trader and trained investor. It's important to upgrade your skill. Right now, of course, upgrading your skill is question: do you want to be regularly mentored by us or not? Something that you want to consider. All right, let's move on to what we have next here for you here. The advanced trade idea for today, definitely the 29 Jan episode 30. We have two, Tasco and Success. So you can see on the right hand side here, this here and here are the two stocks that pick up. So let's bring out the Tasco. All right. Now if you look at Tasco, this is the hourly chart, but I want to switch to this is the hourly chart. And again, what we want to see is the spring. We always have weakness, the wash with climatic volume, pull back up again, you can see the diminishing volume. Then we have the step up volume here. All right, let me just show you this one here. There you can see here the volume stepped up, right? And then finally this morning we have the breakout, and that's what was picked up by SMARTRobie Premium Alert in here. I think this is a pretty good entry, right? Again, very similar to the case study we just showed you, EITA. It will run, it runs 3 bar, 4 bar, I wouldn't know. So continue to watch it. And if you are an active trader and want to be an active trader, you might want to subscribe to a package like what you see here, the trading wheel, which is real time. Okay, and we have a special promotion this month for the Chinese New Year, which I'll talk about in next week. So in here, Tasco looks pretty good. Let's look at Success now. Success Transformer, again, a nice one in here. Now, very similar, we have the spring, right? That you have the spring inside here, and this one here, the volume slowed down, but then finally the volume came up, step up, and then we have this climatic volume, which climatic volume at the base is okay, but climatic volume at the top, like what we saw with EITA, okay, at the top there, that is the one that is going to cause the market to reverse, because climatic volume at the bottom, you know lah, just like the top reverse, bottom climatic volume, turn back up. That's right. So these are the price and volume things that we teach in our master class. Do take note of that one. Okay. So let's look at it again in here. This is Success. Of course, next week we'll come back and look at it. If you're done well or don't done so well, then we'll make it part of our lesson. Now remember, what we want to do here at the SMARTRobie as well as the Trade VSA is to impact some of this case study and lesson that you will learn, so you don't go in blind lah. Right? Okay, let's move on. I will come to some of your questions later. Okay, let's see what I have here before we go on. Let's look at the chart here. All right, now this is the chart that we are talking about in, right, the line chain, what we call the schematic, right? Pay notice to narrow spread bars. Narrow spread bar is what we call a window to good opportunity when the volumes are low. Always remember, low spread bar, low volume here, and then that is your window of opportunity before the line chain comes out. So some of the stocks just now we talk about Success. Some of the stocks we talked about just now was this Tasco. Very, very similar. They have this kind of setup. Again and again, I keep flashing. Of course, we have a QR code here for many of those that you want to talk about, and look at the volume spread analysis and some of the sign of strength and sign of weakness we have. So catch up this video too. Don't forget. And for those of you who want to give us a feedback, we really appreciate that. Do go over to Google My Business on the left hand side and QR code as well as Facebook and give us a review. We really thank you for your support so far. All right. And definitely for tomorrow, the free workshop that we'll be doing on Saturday will be 30th of January, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Will be this talk that we have, and as I said before, we have limited first 500, but usually we don't get 500 people, so do come in early. Right, we start at 10, so around 9:40, 9:45 we will open our Zoom link. You should get a Zoom link this tonight or earlier on, as is sent in by the Zoom one. All right, next thing that we have for our next Wednesday talk will be the renewable energies, and this is pretty exciting. Myself and my team, what does it mean for the KLSE renewable energy sectors? So we will be examining some of the President Biden green policies and how will this proliferate to our local market. All right. And for those of you who have signed up for our masterclass, thank you for your support. We will convene again on the February 5th, which is first week of February, just before Chinese New Year. And we do have a special. This time round, we'll be talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin now is laying low. No one's talking about it after it hit like 50,000. This is the time where you want to think to be buying Bitcoin. Of course, we want to look at the trade setup and some other things that we talk about in here. So also US market, very important. As I said before, the masterclass, we cover the US market because once we train you for the Malaysian one, we'll train you for the US. That's why we're talking about President Biden policies. What are those green energy renewable sectors that they have in US? Malaysia, we only have a few, but there are more over in US. We will discuss on the February in here. Of course, as part of our promotion for the Chinese New Year, which will end 31st of January, just 2 more days, for the combo plan, which give you access to 12-month mentoring of the masterclass that we talk about in there. You can come back and resit and read, and that's a number you can text in. And those of you who wanted to know about our plugin, the charts that I will just show you, the Success and the Tasco and the Top Glove, that's the one you want to look at for the 12-month plugin. All right. And of course, another treat that we have for you to get many of you beginners is to, there's a QR code in here. We have myself and my team, we have put in 7 short lectures, introduction to the stock market. The way I gear it up is more for the beginners in here, just to get you, what's this all about, what is smart money all about, what is PE, what is stocks, because we find that many of our members as well, the public listening, your children, your next generation, it's important. Now, I'm trying to get my children to watch this also. So we are targeted in such a way it should be finished within an hour or so. So there are 7 short lectures in here. Do watch them for yourself and also get your children to watch it. And it's also good. We find that there is a lack of stock market education, and this is definitely a good way to start. It's available on YouTube. So that's a QR code will get you started and going forward. All right. So right now we're going to be looking at the stocks that we have, and some of you have already given to me. Definitely K-Power, I think I already commented. Let's look at the next one. JHM, right? I think it's still looking good. Okay, JHM. Now the wrong question to ask is, can enter now? Can enter now? Very simple. Just go to JHM. Okay, hit. All right, then hit the trading plan. Hit the trading plan. That's right. Now, of course, I will always go back same lah. If you have followed the green pentagon, okay, you have followed the green pentagon, I think already 30% out of the year, somewhere around here. Yeah, 34%, 30% already out. Okay. But of course, many of you first time following, after go up only want to buy, isn't it? Usual lah. I can understand that. That is because you did not make education as part of your lesson learned inside here. If you do take that, all right, as an education, then at least you will know. So that's why we are starting with this short lecture notes, intro to the stock market. That is the one that we want to start you. We are very generous here because we want to make sure you are well educated on all aspects of it, both fundamental and technical. And as I said before, today we get all this smart money, all these activists like the rubber glove that we talk about. So it's good to know all this terminology and don't be blah blah. Correct. Okay, JHM looks pretty all right. Let's look at the next one. You guys want me to look at Vivacom. I think Vivacom came out on the premium report. Okay. Now Vivacom looks pretty good, but remember, this is one of those stocks it's a smart money stock. Let's put it that way. You see this thing go up, distribute, one more distribute. This one can be a distribution also, right? If you want to trade this on a setup, I think it's best. Let it go straight up first, wait for the pullback. And if you want to know about our pullback, our masterclass definitely cover the four to five types of pullback method by full. Something that you want to think about in here. Because my concern is that one bar push up and it will distribute. No doubt you have no supply inside here. Now Vivacom is in. Now Vivacom, I still remember this one of those share going back to 2013. I've talked about many stories about it. So it's very similar to some of those smart money kind of counter. It will attract you, just like sugar will attract ants. At the end, if the if you are not skillful enough, you can lose some money inside here. Stick to something like the tech sectors. Remember, we talk about the sector rotation. I think it's quite important. Many of you come in, wanted to make money, but strategy, baby. Strategy. That's why we have the Pentagon guided portfolio strategy, where many of our members who done the backtest, nobody lost money, right? Because that's what we always talk about, giving yourself room to improve, learning, investing time and money. And if you do that well, I tell you, 2021 will be a good year, because with us mentoring you, you definitely be there. All right, let's look at the next stocks that we have inside here. Iris. Okay, Iris. So this is Iris daily chart. No doubt it have fell off from the high, still holding out around 40 cents inside here. All right, let's look at Iris. Okay, I'll look at the Iris. Let me just switch over here. You can see Iris right now. Okay, so Iris is the, let's look at that. So assume you have it. We have exit strategy for Iris. Now think to exit at 31 cents. So it's now doing well. Pentagon is already red, bearish trend zone. Will move sideways. That's right, it's going to move sideways. All right, medium target 49 cents. So have a target at 49 cents if you break down. So what I'm trying to say, the market is going to move sideways, like what Robie says here. All right, you have a target at 49 cents and you have a support at that time. So that all you got to do, just have to sit it out, right? And of course, if you have learned how to read bar by bar, right, maybe you want to exit this. If not, just follow strictly to SMARTRobie, you'll be fine. Of course, those of you who want to have a bit more control, learn to read chart bar by bar. All right. Okay, let's move on to Server Dynamics. Okay, Server Dynamics. All right, Server Dynamics again. It is one of those stocks that don't do well because of the sector. Now they are in oil and gas. Definitely oil and gas is been muted. No doubt it has been a lot of projects, right? Let's look at the stock fundamental. It is undervalued stocks. Having said that, so normally undervalued stock like this can now whack one, but it has a 3.62% now. So what do you want to do about it? Now the way I normally teach people is that if you want to buy some value, it's good, but it shouldn't be too much of your portfolio. Have some for your have some technology stocks in your portfolio. If you want value, put this in. The measurement, as I said before, always I tell my students, is the required rate of return for your portfolio. Now this stock, you bought it high, it came back down. Does it impact your portfolio? You need to see it. Because being a value with a 7, if you sell it and then eventually go higher, it's not. So again, go back to your trading plan. Think about all those factors in here. All right. So I tell my students and I tell my masterclass member, your required rate of return need to be realistic. And if you have that required rate of return, you know how to shift the stocks, Server Dynamics, maybe you got a JHL or you get a Tasco, then you know what to do with it. Because you are maybe not trained or just listen here and there, or you buy and just keep. Tendency is that the stocks will deteriorate. All right, just like if you buy so many things, you put in the storeroom, eventually some of them are rosak one. That's very similar too. All right. Now we all know that even say here clearly it's undervalued, right? All right. So what you're going to benefit from here is just the dividend. Now, especially I hope that you did not buy high, you bought a bit low, and those of you who wanted to buy, maybe you want to have some sort of good stop loss or whatever. Okay, let's move on to some other stocks inside here. Okay, we have Unisem. Unisem, straightforward lah. This one just buy. Okay. Now, if you have not buy, just go back to trading plan. Unisem. Of course, The way to do it, very simple. If you follow the Pentagon, okay, you buy the opening the next day, you're already how many percent in the money? 35%. Similar to JHM. And also you can use Inari also, I think. Yeah, Inari, same thing. All right. Now this one, if you notice, you could have bought it at 29th December, but it did not break through the ATR stop loss. You're still in the trade. All right. The ATR stop loss is the final frontier. If you break through, exit it if you're on a trading purpose. Because I do get questions. Some of the members ask, I'm investing long term. Now, if you're investing long term, you may want to look at other stop loss. You look at the cycle. You look at the sector. You look at the overall trend. But if you follow some of my fundamental talks that I talk about with the sectors, then you have pretty much opinion about it. But also I tell the member, go back and backtest the ATR stop loss and check out. Because all these, eventually you need to know them, right? So when you know them at heart, you have full control of your portfolio in here. Okay. VIS. Now there, Richie, can I buy CY Park now at 135? Or which is lower at, okay, let's look at CY Park. So CY Park, again, if you buy at a pullback, you need to know the right setup. Okay, that price is given to you, but you need to know the setup. There's not much of a setup here on the pullback. Okay, and also I prefer pullback on the green Pentagon. Sorry, on the blue trend zone. There's no over in here. Right. Right now the market seems to be just moving sideways only. Okay, just moving sideways. And I would actually buy if it takes out this, or I will wait until the green Pentagon turns. All right, because right now this market seems to be moving sideways, and every time when you see this kind of climatic, that means at the top it means distribution. So the market's going to move sideways. Wait for it to accumulate. Look for those setup that I talk about in the breakfast show. Right, more of them also definitely in our masterclass. Then you will know it further. Okay, okay, VIS. Okay, VIS, again, from right bottom in here, you've already made money. So red Pentagon, take some profit. All right. So usually, again, going back to in here, likely you got lots of volume here. Market may just move sideways first. If you want to go higher, then just use VIS. VIS, if you want to buy, look at the trading plan, assuming you have not gone in. All right, consider VIS if it exceed 1335. 133 here lah. Somewhere here. If it breaks that, then go in. Okay, if you want to wait for the pullback at $1, again, going back to the setup, important inside here. All right, DNO, UWC. If you have time, check out DNO and UWC. All right, those are heading higher too. Okay, let's go on. Okay, solution, and now the pharmaceutical world, everything is already been priced in. As I said before, use the Robie trading plan and go for it. Right, but take note, things already known, very likely it cannot go higher. Usually, remember, smart money know about all this. It's better to go in earlier, and also go in when you see the first green Pentagon. All right, okay, let's look at the last one, which I'll talk about is solution group. Okay, solution group, again, going back to this orange trend zone, isn't it? Market likely to move sideways or go down. Again, go to exit strategy and look at solution. What is exit strategy for solution? And then you will know what to do. Okay, solution exit strategy. That's exiting at 92 cents, which is somewhere down here, right? It says already. However, solution may move sideways. I'll go lower from here. Be ready to exit. Target price is $2. So you know what I mean. You're just sort of moving sideways. You're not making money. And take note of the sectors where solution is. Is this one of those tech sectors, industrial products? Now go to the Trade VSA dashboard. We have the sector analysis inside there. Check it out over there. All right. That will give you some sort of trend going forward. Okay. Now, that's all I have for today. I hope to see you guys tomorrow, 10 o'clock. If you are coming, that will be great. If not, I'll see you next Monday or so in our breakfast show. Thank you for coming anyway. Thank you again. Do join and spread the good word of what we are doing here at Trade VSA, and the educational program they intend to do is to educate. And do check out our 7 short course in there, and don't forget to join our Telegram chat room for more information that is educational and entertaining. Thank you very much. Bye bye, and have a good day.